Hi, Joe DiGiulio here with another quick lesson. This time the quick lesson is going to be on the line of Beste brushes. They're short handle brushes. They're used for watercolor or acrylic application, but usually any wet media, as long as it's not an oil base, they're fine for. The short handles do allow you to have a little bit more control, and we're going to work on a Fabriano paper. Now this Fabriano paper has got a little bit of liquid pencil in the background already that we've done earlier. But the thing that's unique about the Beste brush line is that it has very unusual shapes that you just don't find in any other brush line. Everything from riggers to angular washes, large filberts for oval washes, the classic 2-inch wash brush, fans, and flats. Most brushes have the four basics: a filbert, a bright, a flat, and a round. You've got all those in the Beste line, but you've never seen this one, the Deerfoot. It does these little watercolor techniques, like stomping. They call it that because of the way it's cut. It looks like the hoof of a deer. Anybody that's out there that paints miniatures, little guys, little men, things like that, you can't do without what they call the winkle brush. It's just a really fine angular brush, and the great thing about it, it allows you to steady your hand when you paint with it for really delicate detail work. But I'm just going to use the culmination of all these brushes to do a little freelancing on this watercolor paper, because I love to combine different types of paint bodies: the acrylic paints, the liquid pencil, graphite, China markers, ink, put it all together into one thing. But these Beste brushes really will deliver a great result using them, this triangular brush. Really unusual. They call it the wedge, and it comes in different sizes. I believe this is the biggest one, the number 12. What it'll allow you to do is go from a very wide to a very thin line in one continuous motion. I can thin it up, I can thicken it down, depending on how much pressure I use. Anybody that's painting foliage, leaves, things of that nature, in watercolors, absolutely you must have. The classic flat does allow to hold quite a bit of solution, whatever you're painting with, in the belly. But because it is a synthetic, the tip always stays very sharp, very firm, a lot of control. You see that I can do more angular, grid-like, squared off marks on my paper using the flats. The leaf techniques. But me being an abstract artist, I go wild with all of it. The angular wash, great for supporting my hand, but I can use it as a blending brush. Notice that it delivers a flat surface when my hand's on an angle, so I'm not having to work that brush like that. This is a little bit uncharacteristic for an arm. The angle lets the arm stay at its regular place and deliver that wash and work it in where you want. Lucky for me, I'm using the liquid pencil permanent so that I can go back and do these color overages without removing it. If I was using the non-permanent liquid pencil, that wouldn't be possible. Let's introduce another color in here. A little titanium white. And of course, fantastic for watercolors, but in this case we're using acrylics today. I want to define some space, a line. I can apply it with that. Again, I love these angulars. I want to pull that out, blend that area, and then let it work its way out from the main. Pulling it out. Pulling it out. Everybody knows, has seen any of my work, that I love this Australian sienna, one of my favorite colors in the Matisse line. When it's introduced with these blues from the liquid pencil, it has this really great harmony. Let's face it, that orange base of that sienna with that blue background, the complementary coloration of it lends itself to very interesting results. You can take the Beste brush, the classic round. In my Wind Spirit series, I use these quite a bit because I like to record these loose, linear elements. I mean, all work should have 4 basic ingredients in it: shape, line, texture, and color. The Beste brushes allow me to deliver all of that to this piece. Here, let's pop another color in there. And I want to work with the fan and the filbert. But what I want to do is load my brush with a little color. Then I'll take another brush. I want to be supportive right here. And I use that as a base for controlling my splatter. This is a technique that anybody can do, but it gets some really beautiful results. Another brush that I use is a script, or sometimes called a rigger. In this case, the line calls it a script brush. It's for writing script. Why would they call it anything else? But I can go and drag it through color and add it a little bit of interest, a little definition right into the work. This is how I conducted my Wind Spirit series when I was in Taos last November. So you've got some unique brushes that do unique things that you just don't have in most brush lines. So I suggest if you're going to work on paper, you want something that you can cross watercolor with acrylics, try out the Beste line brushes. They're fantastic. I know you'll enjoy them. Thanks very much for your time. Appreciate it. See you on the next quick lesson.